Hello and welcome to Flory Model Kit Review Time. Today we've got Eduard's release of the 1/72nd kit. So there's a limited edition called the actual Hurricane Story. It's actually the Arma Hobby's kit. Now I've built this kit and have to say it's the best kit in 1/72nd scale of a Hurricane that's out there. The details are absolutely beautiful and there's a full video build of me doing that one. So if you want to go off and see that one, you can. But what actually they've done, Eduard, usual thing, taken some of their goodies and giving it incredibly nice markings into this one and done it as a dual combo set. So actually what you're getting here is two kits in one, two lots of aftermarket bits for it, and then obviously decal choices, as you can see. So as you can see, that's been sort of legendary now is this gorgeous artwork on the box, which has become, you know, massive collector's item. You can buy these as posters as well, and to be honest, they are sort of, you know, on the walls of the PM store, looking absolutely fantastic. So we've got some markings down in here. And also talking about the aftermarket, so actually what you've got in here is two lots of masks. You're going to get two lots of colour photo etch. We've got two lots of exhausts as well, resin exhaust, two lots of wheels, and obviously tail wheels with that one as well. We've also got on the other side, you can see some of the other markings. We'll have a look at these a little bit more in a moment. But your kit number for this one is number 2138. So if we can dive down in the box here, what we'll find something heavy to put on there. Okay, so we've got two kits in one. So again, it's one of these things, there's only a couple of sprues for each one, but we have got two lots in there. We'll look at that in a moment. Again, we've got the instructions, which we'll go through in a minute. And then we've got all the niceties. So we've got the decals, we've got two lots of colour photo etch, and we've got normal photo etch as well, so that's a really nice touch. We've got exhaust, so we've got the wheels and the various bits, and we've got two mask sets, which are another nice touch with this one. So if we start with the instructions, have a look through on these. So again, typical of Eduard onto this one, really very nice instructions down in here as all of them. So this is our browsing bits that we've actually got, say the exhaust and the wheels. So these are weight on wheels, which is really nice. And obviously a die cut mask set, which is something, colour photo etch set. We've got a little bit of film as well in there. And obviously we're not using the wheels or the exhaust, so that's why those have been blanked out there. So normal thing, if it's red, it normally means cut it off or sand it back or something else like that, because you need to make way for the actual photo etch onto this one. So looking for these areas. Anywhere in blue tends to be what you're replacing it with, all right? So again, lovely little details down here. So we've got some harnesses, which is a really nice touch with this one. We've got a little bit of armour, things like that going on for the actual plating work and adding us a little bit more detail down into the cockpit. We also get, by removing the kit part ones, sanding those off and all the rest of it, we've actually got colour photo etch, and then down in here for the compass down at the bottom as well underneath, we've got that in photo etch, as well as a little bit of plastic with colour photo etch on the top of it. We're removing surface detail off the side walls, and again making way for some colour photo etch going on there. A little bit of PE to be bending down in there to make the map bin, putting those ones in, and then again adding back the detail as well with the normal kit parts onto this one once those have been installed in there. And again, exactly the same for the other side, as you might imagine, right the way through. Again, this has got gorgeous detail, especially when you do think this is a 72nd scale kit, and as you can see, some really nice detail. So we've got more photo etch being put down onto these ones right the way in, and then again sandwiching it all together with the cockpit down in there. Using a ballpoint pen, usual way of doing it for actually rubbing through the details onto the photo etch, and we've got the photo etch going down there on the bottom, wheel wells and alike just down in there like there. Wheel wells being fitted in, main gear being fitted in, and then you sandwich it all together in there just like that. Down in here you've got the guide as well for using the mask set right the way through, pretty straightforward, inside and out by the looks of it. So there we go, you've got both of those on there. And then my favourite, as always, as you know, is replacing the kit part rudder pedals with photo etch ones. Yeah. Right, okay, so details going in the back end. We've got another little bit of photo etch down in there as well for the actual trim tab, those being fitted down in, and then the fuselage halves being fitted down onto the wing assembly, wheel wells, things like that. Gear being fitted in, again, replacement ones down in there like that. And then again, depending on obviously spinner type down in here and markings as well. So just making sure you've got all of those lined up. Exhausts, again, trop type coolers underneath. And then obviously we've got the standard one underneath there again with a little bit of photo etch on there. Okay, so then we've obviously got the prop being fitted down onto there. We've got the cooler being fitted down in the radiator and all the rest of it, all the parts on there, those brass and exhaust, things like that down at the bottom. Another little bit of photo etch down in there if you're going to be having the actual rear radiator open or closed, and then again small bits of photo etch, just adding all the final details. So things like the rear view mirror, we've got the gun sight being fitted, the handles for the sliding of the actual canopy itself. So again, these are the tiny little details that we didn't get with the normal kit, really bringing it to life. Then in different types of canopy, open or closed, because there is a slight width difference as well in both of those, so you can't really use the normal canopy to slide back in the open position. And then again, different types of aerial at the back, and again we've got this little bit of photo etch being the plating for the exhaust stopper going up into the cockpit. Just like that. Markings, again, take your pick. Some really nice different types of ones in here. So we've got the standard brown and obviously with the green and the sort of duck egg underneath and things like that down in there in the sky. Again, different versions right the way through of that one, and obviously in the A and B camo types as well for those ones. And then we've got the earlier one with the black as well, with the actual sky underneath for the identification being fitted down in. And then we've got props, various types in there for all of these ones, and again some really nice options. This one really took my eye. You might have seen it before from Libya in 1941. It's got the white at the front, and then obviously the sky and the white along there as well. It's got that extended sort of sand cooler filter down in there as well, so that's really nice indeed, and working our way right the way through with all the different types, bringing you up. And again, really nice options as well with this one, with the sort of mottling down in the front there, with the lightning bolt down in there from 274 Squadron. And again, we've got some other ones down in here from Royal Navy as well. So in the Western Desert markings with the Azores blue and the sandstone as well. Some very nice options. Luckily though, stencil data is pretty much non-existent, so that's something you don't have to worry about. Okay, so over in the now again, it's always a little bit contentious this, because it seems to be a little bit like Marmite. It's sort of polarized modelers. Some people love the decals, the new way of doing it. Lots of people hate them, and it has always been one of the biggest reasons for buying these kits is the sheer number of decals you get down in here. Now I can tell you this is the new type, which is obviously their own printing of them, which to be honest I am not a fan of. I prefer the good old-fashioned way of doing it, which I always think works slightly better, but there you go. So again, you can always tell the difference because they look like there's a lot of carrier film to them, which there is because the carrier film's on the top. And again, this is one of those ones, but beautifully done, very nice, all in register. But unfortunately, again, I think if you're going to be doing kits like this, unless you can get this carrier film off, which let's face it, there is videos all about how to do it and all the rest of it, especially in this scale, it's going to be very thick and it's going to look a little bit odd. But if you can get it off, you'll be absolutely fine. So again, I'm not going to go through about the fors and against for doing it, but the easiest way to notice how this works, if you look down in here where it says the history, Hurricane Story, Mark 1. You see how there's no real carrier film on it? That's how I like my decals. I don't like them with this way of doing it where they have the carrier film on top and you can peel it off afterwards and stuff if you know you were to be taken. So again, that's the problem with it. So there's a lot of carrier film on these. But again, I think at this scale especially, it's even worse. It's not so bad in 32nd, 48th, but when you're into 72nd, you don't want to be having this much carrier film hanging around your actual areas. So again, not a fan of it at all. Don't like it. I wish they'd just go back to doing it the old way. Okay, so we do get colour photo etch, and obviously we do get two lots of this again. So we got colour cockpit photo etch, so the interior colours don't look too bad. And again, you got all your harnesses done and things like that, no problem at all, and all those details we were talking about. And again, down in here, we've got that plate underneath. We've got the actual nose for the back of the spinner, and all the areas down in there just like that as well. So you're not going to be short of detail on this little kit. You also get die cut masks we spoke about. So there's two in here, and then down in here we've got a little bit of film as well for the different types. So we got that sort of round ones for the actual compass underneath the instrument panel, and then we got obviously the square ones up here for the gun sight, so you got those as well. The wheels and the brassing bits are down in here. So we got the tail wheels looking just like this type of bit, and then we've obviously got the main gear And again, they are weight on wheels, tiny little weight on wheels and all the rest of it. And then we have actually got the exhausts done on here, just like that. Again, very nice, and they're hollowed out and those types of bits as well. So really that's all you're going to need, I think, in here. That's probably more than enough that is required to really bring your model to life. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll quickly have a look through at the parts. So it's a shame that we've got the clear parts. Luckily they're wedged down in here, but you might notice they are running free in the bag. We will have a quick look. They're usually very nice and clear, and especially for the scale, I think they're absolutely fantastic. The nice thing to them as well, they've got a good edge on them, so they're easy to mask up and things like that. So you might remember when I did my one of it, we had no problems doing that at all. Again, so we've got 2 lots of those just like that. Then obviously over here we've got the main parts. So, and again, it's just a dual sprue. You only get 1 sprue, so we just look at this one. And again, the surface detail is what is absolutely incredible on this kit. To be honest with you, when I first saw this, I was absolutely blown away. So if we start up here, try and catch it in the light, you can probably see how fine the panel lining is and the riveting and excess panels and things like that. Absolutely gorgeous. The texture down here at the back for the fabric, again, is absolutely beautiful, no problem at all. Underneath here as well with the gun ports and the things, the areas, you can see them all in there. It is great, absolutely fantastic detail right the way through. No real flash, there's no real sink marks on this kit or anything else at all, and I can totally vouch for it, having built it. It's a beautiful kit to go together, and what I'll do is at the end of this I'll pop some photos up for you. But again, it's one of those ones, it goes together really nicely, no problem at all. But usual thing, when you put down the cockpit and you slide it down in there, don't be pushing it together, because otherwise you'll get a gap between the fuselage and the wings. If you let it naturally sit there, and if you like do what I do in the video, is just put a little bit of pressure just down inside and push them slightly out, and they are absolutely fine, no problem at all. But if you put that interior detail into it and then push it hard together, I think you actually just pull it in a little bit too tight. So just be mindful of that. It's the same with a lot of aircraft kits, you know, which have this system. People tend to over pinch around the cockpit area to push that cockpit in there nice and tight, but unfortunately what you do, you end up with gaps then between the wings and the actual fuselage in that wing root area. So what happens is you've got like a millimeter gap, which was caused by you over pushing it going down. I've done it, I'm sure you've probably done it in the past, but that's a good call for it. But this kit is prone to it, so you could either put a little bit of a spacer in there, or just do as I did in my video for it, is that once it's in there, just push them out a little bit. So we glued it, pushed them out, held it for a couple of minutes, and then it was absolutely fine and no problem at all. But again, that's builder error rather than the kit. The kit's fine, but I know a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't go. It's you, trust me, I did exactly the same thing. Anyway, there we go, that is this one. So again, beautiful job by Eduard as well, reboxing what is the best kit out there of a Hurricane in 72nd scale, bar none. Nothing even comes close to it. Great job, you get 2 down in here, beautiful markings, even though the decals are all to use, but generally you've got all the parts. So you've got probably going to be the most detailed Hurricane you will ever find, especially with the colour photo etch and those resin parts. It will be an absolutely beautiful build. So there we go. As always, it is available in the actual PM store as well. So if you want to get yourself one, we carry those in stock as well. So there you go. That's the Eduard's 1/72 rebox of the Arma Hobby's 72nd scale Hurricane.